Hi everyone, my name is Itay Sharfi and I've been in the software industry for over 2 decades now. So in this video, I'll try to talk about the 5 different ways by which you can improve your odds of getting a recommendation. Now, as I mentioned, I worked in software companies. I'm also teaching in Cal State Fullerton as an adjunct professor. And I've received many requests for recommendations in LinkedIn, in written, as a reference. And those comes from colleagues, friends, students, coworkers. Sometimes I make that reference and sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's strong and sometimes not as strong. Today I would like to share with you my top tips on how to secure that glowing recommendation you've been aiming for and that you might need for your position. So number one, which sometimes people don't pay enough attention, is to choose the right person. Some people are more willing to help than others, and some people are more enthusiastic in general than others. Remember, the person who reads the recommendation, they don't know. So remember, the response to your request, it would often depends on the nature of that person you're asking from. Are there a person that gives recommendation, good recommendation? Are there a person, how well do you know that person? Before reaching out to that person, consider whether this person has a history of giving recommendation. Imagine this person alone, maybe with a hiring manager, giving their opinion, or maybe even publicly. Would you want this person to give you that recommendation, and would they give you that recommendation? This foresight can really save you time and these emotions when you don't get recommendation and increase your chances of success. You might have tens of hundreds of people you might be able to target. It's good to focus. My second tip is to have a solid base for your recommendation, right? So what does that mean? When you're asking somebody to recommend, usually it would mean that you ask them to recommend based on something, on some shared experience, right? You might be very smart, but that's not really a lot of a recommendation when you're looking at it from a job perspective. If we haven't collaborated on a project, I might find it difficult, challenging to endorse your skills and talk about our shared experiences. We don't have one. So this is also an advice going forward. So that means if you want a recommendation from a person, try and get a meaningful project with that person, with that potential recommender. This will only not strengthen your professional relationship, so people you can talk with or people that you might be able to assist in referring. It will also give you like a concrete experience to base the recommendation on. Remember, it's the easiest to give recommendation based on some experience working with the person. My third tip is make it easy. Make it easy for your recommenders, right? Sometimes people will say, hey, can you recommend me? And that has been in the past, and I'm not like 100% maybe remember exactly the details. Help to refresh their memory. Just provide some brief summary, something that on the project that you work together, especially if, as I mentioned, it was long ago. You can offer a draft, or if you feel it's too much, just key points, like maybe 2-3 things you would like to highlight. This is perfectly acceptable. That can significantly reduce the effort on their part. You'll be surprised how many people that they write recommendation for a person would just ask for a draft, make tiny tweaks, and then submit that as their own recommendation. And that's perfectly fine because the expectation is that you know what the project was like and you know what the recommendation would be like. So give that information, and as I mentioned, at least the bullet points. The fourth tip is understand their comfort zone, right? So if someone is unfamiliar with your areas of expertise, I'm a product manager, maybe you're a product manager, used to be a software engineer, maybe you're a software engineer, I can understand maybe what makes good one or what makes not. Sometimes I'm not really sure. For example, maybe it would be somebody from finance, maybe it would be somebody from like sales engineering. I'm not 100% sure to say, hey, this is like an excellent person. So understand their comfort zone in understanding what the role is. If they don't know what the role is, just say, oh, that's what I've been doing, those are the things, and ask for a recommendation based on that. Another thing to take into consideration is when you're asking for a recommendation, it needs to be somebody that's able to talk about that and be reputable. So If you are, again, in the sales org, you might want a recommendation from somebody from the sales org and maybe not necessarily somebody from product. The fifth tip is reach out to those that you had positive working experience with, right? So when you ask a recommendation from somebody, think, what's the work experience together with them was positive. I have recommended in the past, and I don't find a big issue to maybe recommend people that might have some challenges with the company, maybe even left at some point. However, I had a good experience working with them. I have good opinions about them. I appreciate what they've done in the project, and I'm very happy to recommend based on that. As long as it's that person can have honest and positive reflection on the time of working together, that is could make a very good recommendation. Now, so I mentioned 5 tips. Here's a bonus tip. Beware of lukewarm recommendation. Okay, lukewarm recommendation, and this is something more applicable maybe for the US. Lukewarm recommendation can be perceived negatively. We all know that you pick those recommendations, right? So that's the top. So if it's lukewarm, what does it say? And another thing is negative recommendation, people don't really give them for various reasons, including both kind of social and legal. So people expect glowing endorsement, right? Anything less than enthusiastic might be interpreted as negative. So aim for recommendation from those who can genuinely endorse your work with enthusiasm, right? It's better to have a few strong positive recommendation, maybe even one, than to collect those half-hearted endorsements. So if you have somebody senior in the org that can make extremely strong recommendation, that's probably better than maybe 4 mediocre ones. If you have a half-hearted endorsement, and you can expect that in advance, for example, through LinkedIn, don't publish it. It's better to not have that recommendation. So in order to have those recommendations, make an honest evaluation of the potential recommenders, of where you stand with them. Think who is helpful, who knows your work, who knows your role, and also your time working together was positive, so they will have a positive recommendation. I hope those tips help you on your journey to securing powerful recommendations. Don't forget to like, share, or subscribe for more insights on professional software development career path. I'm very happy to get your questions or your experience in the comments and would love to hear from you. Thank you very much.